Good morning, everyone, and welcome to 100th Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host, Logan Landers, and today I'm going to be talking about Super Bowl 56, a tale of two quarterbacks, of course, Joe Burrow representing the AFC and the Cincinnati Bengals, and Matthew Stafford representing the NFC and the home team, right, the playing in SoFi Stadium, the Los Angeles Rams. I can't wait to get into it, but before I get started, if you enjoy this video or this podcast episode here today, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We go live each and every single week on Facebook and YouTube. Our podcast, right, thanks to the Believe Podcast Network, has a ton of episodes. We're getting close to 700 uploads over there. Every single day we have something over there available for you to listen to, whether you're on your way to work, working out in the gym, or just making a meal at home, or just relaxing. We have a ton of videos, a ton of episodes with that range anywhere from 10 minutes all the way up to an hour, just depending on who we're talking to, what we're talking about. And guys, we have had amazing guests on our show, right? Former NFL draft scout Daniel Kelly comes on quite a good bit. We've had Super Bowl champions, right? NCAA champions, amazing high school legends that you may have never even heard of who have a tremendous story with Bobby Butler. And we just have a ton of awesome content that we put out for you each and every single week. We put out close to 15 to 20 videos per week and also on our podcast also. So please go over there, like, comment, share, and subscribe. But before we get started, I have a quick mention. And guys, the big game is finally here as we hit Super Sunday with the last game of the football season. Yes, you heard that right. And also the Believe Podcast Network, where we're always located at, is partnering with Bet Online for the Super Bowl. Guys, as always, Bet Online has you covered from odds, scores, totals, player performance props to where the next fired coach is going to land. Bet Online is the number one spot for all things NFL betting in 2022. And it's not just football. BetOnline's basketball, hockey, boxing, and UFC odds coverage is the best in the business. From sports right down to your favorite Vegas casino games, BetOnline is your number one online wagering destination. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to get you started. The fastest and easiest way to wager on all of your favorite sports and play your favorite games, Bet Online, where the game starts. So, let's do it. Matt Stafford, Joe Burrow, two tales. Joe Burrow, the hot, upcoming superstar. Matthew Stafford, the grizzled veteran. Where do we start with this? Well, I'm going to go a little bit back in time, take you back to 2009. Matthew Stafford had just gotten drafted out of the University of Georgia, right, where everyone loved him. He was picked number one overall, and boy, did he have a college career. And man, going into the NFL, everyone thought this kid was going to be a superstar, and he turned out to be a very good player. So let me just remind you, right? In 2008, the Detroit Lions finished with a record of 0 wins and 16 losses. Unheard of, right? Unprecedented. Everyone speaks about that team and how bad they were. So you knew they were desperately they did not want to mess up with this number one overall pick if they wanted to get their franchise turned around. Well, they drafted a kid from Georgia by the name of Matthew Stafford, who over his career had 731 yards, a 57% completion percentage, 51 touchdowns, and 33 interceptions. So Georgia, they had good players back then. Matt Stafford was the leader, and boy, after he came in his 2009 season, right, they still had some pieces to work around. They finished just 2-14, right, but they did get some wins. You can't say it was all on Matt Stafford. That's a whole culture that you have to rebuild pretty much. And in that 2009 season, he started in 10 games, threw for over 2,000 yards, 13 touchdowns, but he did have 20 interceptions, so a little bit of cause for concern there. It didn't get much better, right? In 2010, he got hurt. He did not play much at all that season, and there was injuries barring him, so he was not able to play much in that 2010 season. The Detroit Lions finished that year 6-10, though, but they did have Ndamukong Suh as well as some other players on that team to get them a couple of wins. Then 2011, right, the first time the Lions made the playoffs under Matt Stafford, they lost in the wild card game, but they did have a 10-6 record. Stafford had a solid year coming back from an injury, right? Threw the ball for 663 times, right? That was the most so far in his career, for a 63% completion percentage, over 5,000 yards, 41 touchdowns, and 16 interceptions. So you knew after that 2009 season, right, his rookie year wasn't the best. He got hurt. You were kind of curious, like, is this guy going to be legit? But he came back after after a serious injury, came back and was able to silence the doubters, right, silence the haters, and have a tremendous 2011 season. After that, 2012, 2013, they didn't do much, both losing seasons. Stafford, but you could see that the progress was there. 20 touchdowns in 2012 for Stafford, close to 5,000 yards. And then also in 2013, 29 touchdowns with close to 5,000 yards as well. So the yardage was there. He does have a good bit of interceptions, but I mean, when you're throwing the ball, a lot like he did in 2012, over 700 times, and over 2013, over 600 times. There's going to be a lot of them getting picked off, right? So back in 2014, right, they got back to the playoffs, and once again they lost in the wild card. They finished 11-5 that season, and under coach Jim Caldwell, right, first season there, they had a solid crew, right? Him, Calvin Johnson were the mainstays there, and I think that Stafford, he was selected to the Pro Bowl, right? The only time in his career he's been selected to the Pro Bowl. And he had a tremendous season, guys. 4,257 yards passing. Also, he had 22 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. So very good numbers there. He kept it going, right? 2015, he was 27 at that point. Same pretty much for yardage, over 4,000. Also had 32 touchdowns, so bump that up. 2016, 24 touchdowns, and then 10 interceptions. But the Lions just could not get over that hump, right? So, like I said, 2014, they finished 11-5. 2015, they finished 7-9. And in 2016, which was the last time the Lions were in the playoffs, so it's been over 5 years that now they've been in a playoff drought. They also, you guessed it, lost in the wild card round. So they just could not get over that hump. But in 2016, Matt Stafford did have a solid year, though, right? 24 touchdowns and only 10 interceptions with 4,327 passing yards. Then, after that, it pretty much just went downhill. 2017, they finished 9-7, but not good enough for a playoff spot. 2018, they finished 6-10. 2019, 3-12. And then 2020, which was his last season as a Lion, they finished 5-11 before they ultimately traded him for Jared Goff. Now, like I said, he moved over. He went to the Rams. And man, oh man, has he had a breakout year. 4,886 passing yards, 41 touchdowns, which is tied with his career best in 2011. 17 interceptions, though, which did lead the league. But, man, like I said, we know the interceptions are going to be there because he throws the ball a lot. He threw the ball over 600 times again this past season. But you have a veteran, right? He's 33 now. He's been relatively healthy his entire career. And he's got a lot to prove after, having a lot of not so good years in Detroit, we'll say. Making the playoffs only 3 times in his 10-plus years, all wild card losses. And then in his first season with a new team, he gets them all the way to the Super Bowl. Now, of course, we know it's not all just him. It's Odell Beckham, it's Von Miller, it's Cooper Kupp, and all the rest of the cast and crew over there at the LA Rams. If you want to learn more about all those players, go check out my Super Bowl preview that I did this past week. And I mean, he's got a lot to prove, right? He has, for the longest, it was this guy can't get to the playoffs. This guy's not good enough, yada, yada, yada. But in his first season with a lot of really solid weapons around him, he's led them to a Super Bowl appearance. Now, we don't know if they're going to win or not. The game is this Sunday, but they've got a very good chance. And with Matt Stafford at the helm, a quarterback, right? He's still pretty young, too. He's only 33, still has a couple of years left in the league, still putting up very good numbers, right? He threw for a ton of yards. He's thrown for close to 50,000 in his career. And I think that, if the Rams want to pull off this win, they got to rally behind their quarterback, their veteran who's seen some tough times, seen some tribulations, and who can really put the ball in his court and go to work and get them a solid win and keep them safe, right? Keep them safe at home and keep that Super Bowl trophy safe in LA at the SoFi Stadium. And speaking of keeping you safe, guys, what's more important than a peace of mind? It's nothing, right? And that's what NordVPN is here for, to give you peace of mind while you're online. And with all of the threats that you may face today on the internet, it is important that than ever that be sure you have the best VPN you can get. NordVPN is the world's best VPN service, offering the fastest connectivity, most servers, and next-gen encryption to make sure that everything you do online stays secure. Plus, you can use NordVPN on all of your computers and devices, no matter the operating system. With NordVPN's unlimited bandwidth, you never have to worry about a slow connection either. And plans that start at under $4 a month. So grab your exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/believe or use code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV to get up to 70% off your NordVPN Plan Plus, one additional month for free. It's also risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. So thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring this program, along with the Believe Podcast Network. Once again, they're partner up for an amazing service there. Joe Burrow, Joey Burr, right? Joe Cool, everyone calls him. He's got a bunch of nicknames, but man, there's one thing you can call him, and that is a winner. His career at LSU, right? Everyone assumes that this guy was just a top-rated prospect, right? Didn't have any trials, tribulations, did great things at LSU, and that was pretty much it. Didn't start out that way, right? We all know he went to Ohio State, the Ohio State. Didn't have much going on there. Couldn't really crack the field, couldn't get on the playing field a whole lot, and decided to transfer. He didn't play any in 2015. He was redshirted. 2016, only had 28 passing attempts, so not much going on there. And then 2017 didn't have much going on either. So, you spend 3 seasons, you don't really see the field a whole lot, right? Nothing to really speak about. Why not transfer? That's what we see a lot of kids doing nowadays. And that was probably the best decision for Joe Burrow to make, let's be honest here. Boy, in 2018, right, solid, played in 13 games, finished with a 10-3 record. And then, man, he had a good career, right? 2,894 yards, 16 touchdowns, and only 5 interceptions. So you saw a glimpse, right? That was just one little shining star about what you think Joe Burrow could be. A solid season in 2018. 2019, man, things were different. And I mean that in the best way possible, right? LSU finished 15-0 in the regular season. We all know they won the national championship that year. And he had a breakout season. 402 completions, and he threw the ball 527 times. That's good for a 76% completion percentage, which is insane, unheard of, and amazing to still look at to this day. 5,671 passing yards. But it gets even crazier, folks. 60 touchdowns and only 6 interceptions. I'm going to repeat that, right? 5,671 yards, 60 touchdowns, and only 6 interceptions. Insane. Incredible. Led them to a national championship. Rightfully so. Yep, he won the Heisman, as you would expect with that amount. And in the national championship game against Clemson, 463 total yards and 6 touchdowns in total, 5 of them being passing. LSU got to win 42-25 in that game, and he was named the game's offensive MVP. I mean, this guy was breaking records. You saw the star potential that he had. And personally for me, the last player I had seen with that amount of confidence, just the way he plays the ball, at least at the quarterback position, was Johnny Manziel back when he was at Texas A&M, right? Everyone thought he was going to be a nice quarterback in the NFL, solid player. Didn't pan out for the young man. But Joe Burrow, we all thought that after what he did in 2019, that he was going to be a bona fide superstar. In 2020, right, he was drafted number 1 overall by the Cincinnati Bengals. Everyone thought that, he was also, fun fact, he was also the 3rd consecutive Heisman winning quarterback to be selected first overall, followed Baker Mayfield at Oklahoma, and also Kyler Murray at Oklahoma. He signed his 4-year rookie deal, right, for $36 million in 2020. But it didn't go as planned, and I say that because in 2020, Burrow played in 10 games, but unfortunately, he got injured, and it was a serious injury as well. Second half of Week 11 game against the Washington football team, right now the Washington Commanders. Burrow got hit while trying to throw a pass and tore his ACL and MCL in his left knee, along with some other damage in his PCL and meniscus. So a major injury, right? This isn't just a bone bruise or nothing like that. This was a serious injury. And I mean, there was a lot of people thinking that he might not come back the same player. I mean, he got sacked a ton in his first season, right? He got sacked 32 times. And even in his past season, he got sacked 51, so even more, right? Almost 20 times more he got sacked. And man, he's able to persevere, right? Work through rehab, get things going back. I mean, he had a good season up to that point, right? 13 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 2,688 yards, 65% completion percentage. Everyone thought that, he might have gotten the offensive rookie of the year if he hadn't gotten hurt. But in 2021, he came back, right? Started in 16 games and finished with had a great season also. The Bengals, they were on a roller coaster of a year. They finished 10-6. And man, he had a breakout season. And when I say that, I mean he had a 70% completion percentage, good for 4,611 yards, 34 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. And like I said, he was also sacked 51 times. But what a year that he's had. And most importantly, right, when you look at the Bengals and their playoffs and everything along those lines, it's been even more wild. They beat the Raiders in the wild card game, right? Then they went on to Tennessee in the division round, where Burrow was sacked 9 times, but they did get the win 19-16. And then we saw, in the conference championship against the Kansas City Chiefs, they were not heavily favored. They got the win in that one, right? Another close one, 27-24. But nonetheless, a win is a win. And Burrow had solid games in all of those games there. Against the Raiders, 244 yards. Against the Titans, 348. And against the Chiefs, he had 250 with 4 touchdowns combined in all of those games. And only 2 interceptions, right? And the yardage is there also. So he's had a young career, right? He's only 25. He's got a lot of time to continue maintaining some dominance in this league. And as long as everything goes according to plan, right, is if this fairy tale ending can work out for the Bengals, a team who up until this season had not won a playoff game since the 1990s, and now they just go on this miraculous run to the Super Bowl, I'd go ahead and start building that statue for Joe Burrow. Because this kid is electric. He's a top-notch quarterback. You can see it. He was a winner in college. He's a winner in the NFL. And, this upcoming Super Bowl on February the 13th, right before Valentine's Day, we are going to see just what happens. If it's going to be the old wily veteran, right, closing his career out in a couple of seasons with Matt Stafford, is he going to get that elusive ring? Or is it going to be the hot shot, right, the Heisman winner, national champion, Joe Burrow? Is he going to start off his career, right, in a major fashion? We will see. Please drop a comment. Who do you think will get the win in this game? And also, what do you guys think? What will be the stat line for both these gentlemen, right? Will Matt Stafford put up more passing yards? Will Joe Burrow throw for more touchdowns? We'd love to hear and interact with you guys here on the show. So we go live each and every single week on Facebook and YouTube. We have our amazing podcast thanks to the Believe Podcast Network. And also, I just want to say, guys, this show is presented by Bet Online. So thank them so much for all their love and support. Like I said, we have a ton of amazing content, legends interviews, draft prospects, recruiting specials, just history specials by the game's greatest players, greatest teams, and just a ton of amazing content here at 100 Football. Over 1,000 videos uploaded on our YouTube channel and Facebook. Close to 700 episodes of the podcast are about to be uploaded. And also on our Instagram at 100 Football, we have a ton of content over there as well with clips of each and every single show. So go over there and check us out over there. Also, our website is 100footballsportstalkradio.com. So if you'll go over there and check out some of the other articles we got, that would be much appreciated as well. I have been your host this morning, Logan Landers. You've been listening to my tale of 2 quarterbacks with Matt Stafford and Joe Burrow. I can't see what these 2 gentlemen do in the Super Bowl in just a few short days. And guys, be sure to stay tuned because we have a ton of amazing content to come out for you in just a little bit. And also, if you want to check out the podcast, pretty simple too. At 100 Football over on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, along with anywhere where you download your podcast, Overcast, Echo, Amazon Music, anywhere you could think of, we have it over there. So please go over there, give us a like, give us a review. Just say, hey, I like the show, or hey, I want you guys to talk about this, and we will cover it. So without further ado, guys, I will talk to you guys in just a little bit with another live video. Stay tuned because we got some more great football content coming up in just a little bit.